Hi, it's Dan the Real Estate Guy coming to you from the home office once again, and today's topic is the industry problems. You know, as I mentioned before, one of the cool things about being a membership is we can keep you up to speed. You know, if we were a book written a few years ago or a DVD that was made a year or two ago or even 6 months ago, things change and that's not quite up to date. You're going to notice in your emails from time to time an alert. Anything that changes, we think we need to get you that information right away. You're going to get an alert type email to a new video. This particular one, these industry problems I'm dealing with right now, been going on for a year or two, and I really thought they were going to get better. They really haven't. And it's really important that you understand them. I think some of the rookies that are buying and selling real estate right now didn't quite understand these problems. These problems lead to longer carrying time. Even if you buy a property that's vacant, it may take you longer than you thought and therefore have more cost during the time that you get it fixed up, put it on the market, sell it, and then close it. The two biggest problems in our industry right now are appraisals. You've probably heard some stories, but they seem to be automatically coming in low quite often. You know, an appraiser will argue with you and tell you all kinds of reasons why that's not true, but a guy in the trenches like me for 25 years, witnessing how appraisers work, I'm telling you right now, they are a big problem. They're not part of the solution, they're part of the problem. They'll deny that they're being directed by the lenders, but in my opinion they are. Somehow they think they're protecting a lender. It's not working. I even told one of them, if you really want to protect a lender, you need to get a time machine and travel back to about 2004 and 5 when they were coming in high every time, and they in fact helped bury these banks. The banks were willing to lend money for free or for easy type money, lending with their eyes closed to anybody who wanted it. Don't know why they thought that wasn't going to be a problem. But anyways, back then, I remember having 3 different conversations with appraisers where I had put a property on the market and I told them, I don't know what you're going to do. You know, I listed it for $250, you know, the comps are $240, $245, and $250, but I got 5 offers and someone wants to pay me $275. You know, the market was on fire. People were fighting for the properties. Remember, we've talked about supply and demand. Low supply, high demand driven by easy money. And I remember 3 different appraisers telling me, oh, I don't care what the comps are, I'm coming in high. I'm coming in, I'm making this deal go. Because if I don't, I get taken off the bank's approved appraisers list and I lose the work. And they wanted to work. So banks wanted to do those loans so bad that they in fact sort of directed those appraisers, basically letting them know that if you don't come in, you're off our list. Doesn't seem right, and it probably isn't. There's probably a lot of people right now that are mad at me for telling you that that's the way it works, but that is the way that it worked. There really isn't any denying it. So take that reverse of that now. I can sell a property with comps of the same model, just happened. Same model, 125. Guy comes in at 118. Same model, 132. Guy comes in at 118. I have another one. Comps are there. My contract price is 142. The FHA will require 2 appraisals sometimes. If it meets a certain criteria, they got to get 2 appraisals, not 1. First one comes in at 145. Wonderful. But you're stuck with the lowest one. Second one comes in, another appraiser looking at the same information. Comes in at 136. My contract's 142. I have 1 appraisal for 145, 1 appraisal for 136. I either have to kill the deal or lower the price on the contract to 136 and close. All right? It doesn't seem ethical. It doesn't seem right, but the appraisers are in fact doing this. And that story repeats itself over and over and over again. And why can I tell you that? Because I'm doing lots of transactions. I just bought the 50th property of this down cycle 2 days ago on Monday. 50th. Remember, in the down cycle of the 1990s, the last boom and bust that I worked, I bought 150 properties in that cycle. I don't know how many I'm going to buy in this cycle, but I know I just purchased number 50. All right? So I have current lessons, current things that I'm dealing with every day in the marketplace. I have to look at these comps and try to figure out where are these guys going to come in. But sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes they seem to ignore all the comps and come in low. In my opinion, the market is being held artificially low. Consumers will pay more than these things will appraise for. I can sell them all day long for higher. But if they don't appraise, I can't get them through. Now, getting back to those two FHA appraisals, you're stuck with the lowest one and you're stuck with it for 6 months. So even if I kill the deal and say, hey, forget you, I'm not going to sell it for the 136 and go back on the market for my 139.9. After all, that's what I was asking, was 139.9. I was offering the best product at the best price and condition in the area, turnkey, ready to go. And that's why I got an offer over my full price listing. Got several offers. But yet the appraisers aren't going to let a consumer pay that for it. It's artificial. You see, market price should be set by definition. It should be set by a ready, willing, and able buyer. I've got plenty of ready, willing, and able buyers willing to pay a price, and yet the appraisers keep coming in low. Even when there's comps. Even when there's comps at my contract price or higher of the same model on the same street, and they still might come in low. All right, in my opinion, it's unprofessional and it's unethical. But it doesn't really matter because that's what's going to go on every day in the marketplace. All right, so I need to report that to you so you can deal with it. All right, so that's one of the problems. Appraisers, they are a problem. They're not part of the solution here. My company and other people that buy and fix up and sell, and if you do the same, you're part of the solution. All right, they're part of the problem, and they're going to remain part of the problem for quite some time, it looks like. All right, so we have appraisals. The next thing we have is the 90-day flip rule. That ties in with the FHA. The 90-day flip rule was made up around 2003 when the terms flipping started becoming popular, when people started buying property in a hot market at retail value, by the way, and then trying to inflate that value and try to get a little bit more. In my opinion, I'm not a flipper. Flipper to me insinuates unprofessional. I buy and sell properties professionally. I know some people can't see the difference, but I'm just like any other shop or store. You know, if you're a store and you've got product on your shelf, you bought that somewhere wholesale. You then sold it retail. In some cases, your product needed to be prepped for sale like mine does. Other times, you're just buying from wholesalers and putting it on your shelf and selling it. It doesn't matter to me if you're selling boats, airplanes, jets, cars, real estate. It's just you have to get it wholesale somewhere in order to sell it retail to the retail market. That's not what flipping insinuates. Flipping kind of came about from all the people who didn't know what they were doing, and their method depended on the market value to go up each month in order for them to make money. They paid retail. They spiffed the property up if it was a used property. If it was a brand new one, they just sat on it a couple months in the new subdivision and then put it back on the market for 10, 20, 30,000 higher. That's where the flipping thing came from. FHA came up with a rule on that, a 90-day flip rule. And what the flip rule, if you read the flip rule, you can probably Google it and find it, it says right in there that normally it's a buyer who buys a property and then artificially inflates value, artificially. Not doing what I'm doing, where I have comps at 135 and I pay 90. I'm not artificially doing anything. All right, I'm looking at like buying a $10 bill for $7. It was worth $10 when I bought it. I just happened to be able to find it and buy it for $7. That's all. So I buy and sell properties professionally. The flipper pays retail or somewhere near retail, paints it or does something to it and then asks more than it's worth. And they artificially inflate value. The rule goes on to say that they artificially inflate value in collusion. It says usually in collusion with the appraisers and the lenders, meaning they were doing something wrong. That's why they made a rule. Flippers were doing something wrong. They were influencing the appraiser, maybe paying them off. I don't know what they were doing. They were influencing a lender. Back then, lenders were putting anything they wanted on the loan app. They were lying. Again, people are going to be mad when I tell you that, but it's the truth, okay? Some people went to jail over it, all right? So that stuff was going on. They were abusing the lenders, and that's when the flip rule was made up. Yet it's still here. And it shouldn't be affecting the professional, especially the professional who buys at trustee sales. That purchase there has nothing to do with retail value, all right? It has everything to do with buying wholesale and selling retail. All right? So the 90-day flip rule is also causing some of us trouble and making us hold properties longer, or having us have to do 2 appraisals, and the list goes on. So all of these things equate to something real simple: longer hold time. The third problem, industry problem of this video, is lenders who once lent with their eyes closed, anybody who wanted a loan, now they're looking extra hard at every single buyer. It looks as if they're looking for reasons to not do the loan. Not do the loan. I've had people get turned down for the craziest things. I've had people be asked for documentation that I've never seen anybody ask for. I've seen people who were buying a home, this literally happened to me twice, but one of them I can think of specifically. The sales price was $304,000. The buyer was putting down $200,000 and getting a loan of around $104,000. And yet that deal dragged out as the lender asked that person to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop after hoop, looking as if they were looking for reasons not to do the loan. Now, how stupid is that? Remember, I'm a pretty direct shooter. When something's stupid, I'm going to let you know. That's part of the fun of this program, right? I have nothing to hold back here. How stupid is that? You have lenders that were lending 100% of purchase price for years, as if that wasn't going to hurt them. And now they have an opportunity to do a loan on a property that once sold for probably $500,000, and I'm selling it for $304,000, right? And the person buying it's putting $200,000 down. They have an appraisal. It comes in fine on that particular one. This was just before the appraisal problem really started. And yet they're worried about a $104,000 loan on a property with $304,000 price with $200,000 down. I had this happen over and over and over again. People putting down $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, and yet the lenders appeared like they didn't even want to do the loan. They should be running to do those loans. When you have someone bringing $200,000 to the party, are you kidding me? All right, so lenders are the third thing in this video that's a problem. You have appraisers with no ethics, I don't know how they sleep at night, being directed by the lenders, coming in artificially low on a consistent basis, right? You have the 90-day flip rule, which shouldn't even apply to the professional buyer and seller, all right? It shouldn't. You know, I often say it's kind of like passing a gun law, right? Bad guys will still get guns, right? People that are abusing the lenders will still abuse the lenders. All right? They'll still abuse them. You pass another law, make the loans trickier to get, whatever. Doesn't matter. They'll find a way around it. It only affects the good guys. It affects the guys who want to fly straight, fly by the rules, and do an ethical business. It affects them in a negative way. It affects everyone who works with me, right? My contractors, everybody. All right? They're keeping food off the table is what they're doing. It's wrong. It's real wrong. So you got the appraisers, you've got lenders who once lent with their eyes closed, and you got the 90-day flip rule. I would consider those to be the 3 biggest problems of our industry today. They'll probably be a problem for a while longer. Don't know how long, but it'll be a while. You know, and if I sound all negative on this, don't think so. Remember, whenever there's bad news, it creates opportunity, right? I usually see the opportunity. The opportunity in this for us, really, is that the rookie has almost no chance of surviving in this business. I'm seeing people quit, right? I've even seen people quit that didn't appear to be rookies until they started buying. I saw they were paying too much, then obviously they're rookies, all right? They also went out of business. So these negative things, when you understand them and you know how they cost you money, how they cause these deals to drag out, and you're prepared, you can still find answers and ways around, not really around it, but to deal with it, to build in that extra cost. All that you can do if you understand the problems. I can tell the guy who runs out and pays $200 for, I saw this happen, pays $200 for a house that's worth $230, and he thought he was going to make money. Wasn't. Going to lose money. He didn't capture enough equity to make a profit. All these problems are going to eat up that $30,000 like that. All right. When you also factor in all the other costs, you know, the fix-up, the commissions, the closing costs, his carrying cost is going to be longer than he thought. He's going to get to the end of that deal and he's going to have made no money at all. He's either going to be a tiny little profit or it's going to be a loss. It's going to probably be a loss. All right? And it's because he didn't understand that. And I see that going on every day. So be very, very careful. Be up to speed on the problems. Watch for alert videos. We'll alert you when there's more problems. If we find answers to some of these things, we've got our ways to deal with these things now, but if we find a breakthrough in any one of these areas and it works more than once, we'll be letting you know. We'll be sharing that information with you. So keep in mind the industry problems. Make that, give yourself a little imagination now. You have to think outside the box. So we have a whole video on thinking outside the box. But think about how the problems, you can turn it around and make it positive. Turn it into opportunity. Deal with it every day, and it's not as big a problem as it would appear. I'll see you on the next video.